Well, baby, I'm on it with a bottle of wine and an old dirt road. Are you ready to go? On Live Music Nation podcast, we are starting a series on theaters in the great state of Iowa. And I am with Tammy McCoy today. She's with the Capitol Theater in Burlington, Iowa. Tammy, thanks for joining us.
Of course.
So give us a little background on the theater. From the research that I have done, it looks like it's been around for a long time. And then somewhere along the line, it shut down, and then a group or someone, a visionary, got together and said, hey, let's refurbish this thing and make it the majestic presence in the town of Burlington that it is today.
Yes, it originally opened in 1937 as just a movie theater. And then the last show was played in 1977. They played Carrie, and then the doors were shut for good. Oh. And I don't know, kind of a creepy show for a creepy end. And then was reopened in 2012. There was a group of people that came together, I think around 2008 or 9, and started working on getting some grants and some funders to help refurbish and reopen the theater. They also acquired the building right next door and attached it to the theater. So we have an annex site as well that really was very necessary to give us a little more space, and is going to be the site of some things I'm working on right now for our future.
Oh, very good. Very good. So how long have you been with the theater?
I've been executive director for the last 5 years. I was executive director at the neighboring Arts Center of Burlington for the last 8 years. And then 3 years into it, the theater called me and asked if I would take on the Capitol Theater as well. So I have been doing both for the last 5 years.
Okay, very good. Give us a little background on you. Where did you grow up? Where did you go to school? And then how did you get into the executive director positions at both of these facilities?
Okay, well, I actually grew up in Northern California. I was born in Livermore, and moved to the Midwest as a teenager, and ended up in Iowa back in 86, I believe. And so I guess my background is I started working at the Arts Center 8 years ago because they had gotten to a point where they were losing money fast and didn't have the money to really pay an executive director. So I was on the board at the time and kind of stepped in and turned the Art Center around so quickly that after 3 years of doing so, we had 7 employees and we were growing fast and a great presence in the community. So the Burlington Capitol Theater Board approached me and asked if I would try and do the same thing for the theater. So that's what we're doing. We're trying to rebrand and restart and make this the theater a presence in the community.
Sure, absolutely. So Tammy, what are some qualities? What are the qualities that you think you possess that enabled you to be the leader that it needed to happen here in both facilities?
I would say that for the success we've seen, it's a great passion for seeing people able to connect in a social, having social connection. And that really is my passion. Is I love finding ways to help people connect. And the arts are a fantastic way for that to happen. So really a great mind for business and a great passion for social connection and others are the two qualities I think that have helped me to really be successful in what I do.
Where did you see that passion for connection? Either someone modeled that for you at a younger age, or you learned that skill, or you found that inner reward that you feel when that happens. Where did that come from, you think?
Well, it's not real glamorous. It started just from raising my own children and loving making opportunities for them that just made their lives and their connections more meaningful. And I loved providing the space for that to happen. And I actually started this career post raising kids. All of the kids left the house and I started this career and still had that desire to make something special for people, and found that through the arts, I could create that. And it was very popular and people really responded positively to it.
That's awesome. I just think, I think that every mom, maybe not every mom, but a lot of moms probably have that inner desire to want to help their kids and help them connect, and then to be able to turn that into the business world and the corporate world. I think that attitude and just that level of encouragement to the mom, the stay-at-home mom, maybe right now, who might be stumbling upon this on TikTok or Instagram, that's huge. Just to have a role model and a leader who has been there and done that, and really goes back and gives credit to, hey, this was just my mom's skills.
Yeah.
Desires that I had. I've never heard that before. That almost brings tears to my eyes. And I think sometimes we downplay the role of moms, and like my mom was a stay-at-home mom, and I often wondered why she didn't go to work, and especially after we left home, and to see her and know that was what she was doing. She was helping to make connections, and that made her happy. To hear you explain it like that, that's tremendous as it goes through there. Yeah, absolutely. So congratulations.
Hopefully it's an inspiration to a lot of other people out there that just, you have skills, but maybe they aren't the skills you think you need for a career. Maybe they're more something deeper, and it can be used. Yeah. Yeah.
No, that's great. That's great. Okay, so let's talk about the theater. Let's lighten it up just a little bit. Let's have a little bit of fun here. You've been there for, you said 5 years now?
Yes.
Okay. So in the past 5 years, what are some of give me your top 3 favorite shows that you've either had or seen there?
Oh, that's a tough one. So Burlington's a smaller community. And so the biggest supporters of the theater, as we're trying to get back out of financial trouble and get back into being a thriving business, have been the older generation of our community. And so we've really appealed to that by having a lot of shows that are like tribute shows.
Sure.
And so one of the favorites of the community is a man named Elton Dan, who does an Elton John tribute, and the community just loves it. But we also do a lot of local talent, and that has been one of my favorites. It's just to see how many people just in our own community, as well as the surrounding region, have a lot of talent. So to name 1 or 2 names, I think is not fair, because there are so many that I wouldn't want to leave someone out. But love being able to just highlight and showcase our local talent.
That's remarkable. Okay, so let's ask you a different question. If you could bring one act into your facility, dead or alive, and this is always fun for me, dead or alive, who would you bring in? You could bring in anybody.
Oh, wow. Well, I have a couple of things come to mind. Of course, who wouldn't want Paul McCartney? Okay. And I'm kind of a Stevie Nicks fan, so that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, both of those would fit the demographics that you described. Your community would fully embrace that. So I don't think that's selfish.
But you know what? I'm trying to spread that out a little bit too. Sorry to interrupt you. To a younger community, and so I am trying to talk to people that are, haven't typically come to the theater, and see who do they want, what do they want, what kind of music do you want. So we are trying to get into more hip hop and more country, more rock. It's different things.
Yeah, very good. Let's talk a little bit about the vision of the theater that you have, because obviously the vision of this theater was started long before you got there. You've helped them manifest that and put that into motion. What are some visions that you have in the next coming years for them?
So that is right where I am at right now. Is we want to continue to do the live events, the live music. We also continue to do film. We recently purchased a projector so that we can do the new releases as well as the DVDs. So our vision is the annex portion of the building that we purchased needs to be renovated so that we can utilize it. So we will create another what we call black box theater in the annex, second level of the annex, so that it will be. So our current theater seats 360. The black box will seat 122. We will do a speakeasy, comedy club, some kids club stuff up in there. We'll have some recording rooms for podcast and music recording. We'll do some digital recording that will be available for people to use. We will have a all-purpose room for virtual reality or maybe some other types of classes people could rent the space for. And then also on the first level of the annex, we have just kind of a blank space right now. We're going to create a Art Deco lounge with a 1800s bar, and that was donated to us for the back bar. Then we will be creating some Art Deco stuff in there. And we'll have a cocktail lounge in there that will be open on regular hours as well as before and after the shows.
Wow, that's very, very cool. So where did that vision come from?
Just so when they handed me the job as executive director at the Capitol Theater, they were basically bankrupt and didn't know it. And my first job was to, they were behind 3 months in their building payment, 3 months behind in a side note payment, and 3 months behind in their property tax. They also handed me an accordion file with about $32,000 worth of overdue bills.
Oh, wow.
So that was, I started the job the end of October, 2018, I think it was. And by January 15th, I had the building loan, the side note, and the property tax caught up by getting a grant. And then I had an event where I said, it was called Adopt a Bill. I laid out all the bills on a bunch of tables, invited people, and they paid all of those bills off for us. So that was the beginning of saying, okay, now we're at ground level. Let's start building. So the last 5 years, we've been just trying to build up some funds. And now we're going to be starting a capital campaign. And I wanted to broaden what we offer. And instead of just the live shows, music and the film, what else can we do? How else can we help our community connect? Like I said before, social connecting is so important. And I want to branch out to kids, teens, adults of all ages.
Very cool. Very cool. You're so strong on social connection.
Mm-hmm.
What was COVID like for you, and how did you combat that?
Good question. COVID was tough. We just had to shut down, of course, like all theaters did. And we tried to keep a presence through our Facebook page and encourage people that we will be back. We were very grateful for the grants that were available to help us keep the doors, not the doors open, but keep the place running while it was not able to produce anything. So COVID was tough, but thank goodness for grants and for people who supported us and continued to have keep their memberships with us. And so we made it. It was tough, but we made it.
Did you do any online events during that time?
We did not. Well, we did one, but it wasn't really through the Capitol Theater. It was through another organization, but we had a music event, but not necessarily through the Capitol Theater.
Yeah, gotcha. Very good. Very good. Well, I'm excited to see the next 4 or 5 years for you guys. This is pretty inspiring. And I think when we scanned Google and we looked for theaters in Iowa, the photos that we saw of the Capitol Theater, just how your marquee protrudes from the building and really centers itself into the streetscape. Just from the design itself, you could tell that this was a center of the town. And now we get to meet the leader of that organization as you're going through there. So Tammy, thank you for joining us today, and appreciate the wisdom and the inspiration that we got out of this unexpectedly coming into this, just talking about a theater in Iowa.
It was my pleasure. Thank you for asking.
Well, baby, I'm on